start our second session already, and I've turned the camera on so Mary can watch, and she gave some really great feedback from the last session, so
Okay.
I just have to say I appreciate it, Mary, all the time you spend. So I've got some ocean sounds on.
Oh, you know I like that.
I know you love the ocean, so I thought that would just be a little nice background noise for us. You doing okay today?
I am.
Good, it's Friday.
I know,
Yay.
that helps.
It does.
That helps.
It does. So I just want to talk a little bit about the practice from last week, what I gave you to take home, and how that worked out for you.
Worked good. I did it, I think, almost every day. I didn't do maybe 100% of them every day, but most of them. I can tell that a couple of them I'm more flexible than I was.
Awesome.
I've actually practiced getting up and off, up and down off the floor.
That's awesome.
That's actually getting easier.
That's good.
My knee is starting to bend a little bit, so I'm seeing a few little things are given.
Good. Did you find any of the poses to be more beneficial, or was there anything you really liked or really didn't like?
I like the ones because my back is so tight. I think it's one of yours. It's one I did anyway, where I'm really reaching for my toes and really extending my back. That really feels good.
Okay, good.
And so I have a tendency to do a lot more of those because that's one I did anyway.
Sure. And that's typical. I mean, what feels good to people is the ones that they really gravitate towards, but that's okay because you're noticing that it's helpful to you to do that.
That's my problem area, so yeah, it does help. So that one I really liked. I liked the Happy Baby.
Yeah.
That one actually feels pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, the rest of them were just nothing fantastic, but I really noticed last night that I felt good after I did them all.
Yay. That's
I
awesome.
I felt good. It just.
Awesome. So that's the feedback your body is giving you to say,
Yes.
this is good for you. This is good to do. So that's awesome. I'm glad. I'm so glad.
Yeah.
So today we are going to work a little bit on flexibility. I brought my roller from home, and then which I'm going to let you use, and we'll talk about this a little bit more in a minute. I just want to quickly go through what we're going to try to get through, try to accomplish today. So we're going to do a little bit of rolling. We're going to do some relaxation and stress reduction. We're going to add in a new pranayama or breathing technique. And at the end, when we do our very last pose, we're going to do a restorative pose, and we're going to listen to a yoga nidra, or at least a part of one. It depends on how much time we have left. And then we're going to talk a little bit more about nutrition and inflammation. And then I've also got some handouts regarding inflammation.
Okay.
So that's kind of what we're going to try to get through today. So on the rolling, I think we talked last week and you said that you had not done rolling before. I've not done a whole lot of rolling. Mary actually did a really great rolling class with us, and she's done several different rolling techniques with us, and she's very good at it. I don't have her knowledge of it, but we're going to do a little bit, okay? And I brought my roller from home, which I want you to feel of that. And I'm going to let you use that one, and I'm going to use this one and feel the difference.
Oh, yeah.
So, if rolling is something that you decide is going to be beneficial and you want to invest in a roller, this is the roller I would.
Okay.
It's really hard to start on a hard roller. It's just like, oh, that hurts too bad, I'm not doing it.
Okay.
So the first thing I want us to do with the roller is we're going to lay down on our backs, and we're just going to lay this along our spine, and I'll show you in a minute how we'll get on it. And we're going to balance with this on our spine, and it doesn't sound very difficult, but
I actually did that with a roll-up towel.
Yeah, so you kind of have that
Not this
idea.
big, but yeah.
And what this is going to do, and forgive me for jumping, but we talked one-on-one earlier this week about upper body and neck, and I said I was going to add a little bit
Yep.
more about that in there, because I think, to me, it looked like last time you had quite a bit of flexibility in your lower body, more so than in your upper
I think
body.
that's true.
And I want there to be a balance,
Okay.
you know, and I want you to feel, I want you to feel the same things in your upper body that you feel going on in your lower body. So that's why I want to work a little bit with this. And also our practice today is going to be more about the shoulders and neck and upper back.
That's definitely where I'm tighter.
Yeah, so that's where we're going to work. So this, just even laying on this thing, on our spine, will open up our chest area, our shoulder area, and it really will work on the back. So what we're going to do is, if you want, I'm going to move I'll move that for you. And then I'm just going to place this at the base of your spine. So if you'll kind of scoot your,
Up on it?
no, actually I want you
Right to it.
I just want you to be perpendicular to it. And then I want you to just lay back along that. And then just kind of scoot yourself up on it. Keeping your head on it. So that's how far I want you. That's good right there, okay. And you can already tell. I can tell that you're already like, okay. So what we're going to do here is just kind of play with that feeling. There's all kinds of feelings going on here. You're probably feeling your shoulders kind of opening back. Your back is kind of curving around that roller. Your chest is opening up. So just kind of become aware of what you're feeling with that. Ooh, I've got these things in my hair.
Do I keep my legs straight or can I raise
You
them?
can bend them. Yeah, you can certainly bend them up.
That helps a
And,
little.
you know, just become aware of what that feels like. With your back kind of wrapped around that roller. Where are you feeling all that? Maybe even all the way down into your lower ribs. You may feel it down in that area. And then just gently begin to shift your weight from side to side. Feeling yourself having to kind of balance on the roller. I almost came off of it there.
It does feel good.
And even if you didn't do anything else but just this, and like you said, you can do it with a rolled up towel. You may want 2 towels or a blanket to make it a little bit higher. But just letting your body open up over this roller is good. So we're going to give that a minute or two. Just try to relax. Listen to the waves. Keep rolling gently from side to side. Just building your body awareness. And then just very carefully beginning to sit up. Bring yourselves back up. And that's something that you could do for however long it feels good. That's a nice place to relax. I actually left this on because it was chilly in here. Twist it up here, so. And then the other thing I want to do with the roller, a couple of more things actually, is I'm going to take the roller and turn it other way. And once you get it, again, you can keep your legs bent, just get it. So it's not on your neck, it's just at the very, very top of your shoulder. Okay, and keep your legs bent up. And then we're going to raise our butts up off the ground and kind of roll on that roller.
Just rolled on my
Yeah, but rolled on your hair. Roll on your hair. Pull your hair out by the roots. And it's easier if you kind of support your head with your hands, kind of like you're doing a crunch or a sit-up or something. So just support your head with your hands. And raise up and just roll your upper back. Roll.
It actually feels good.
It does feel good, doesn't it? Just rolling that upper back. Just remembering to breathe while we do this. And you can kind of play with this as you get used to it. You can put a little more weight on one shoulder than the other. Kind of go back and forth. Roll down a little further. You don't really want to go down all the way to your lower back, but you can get some of the little bit middle back area, the thoracic area. Just roll. And then just gently stopping, placing our butts back down on the ground, sitting back up. And again, that's just something that you can do, you know, as long as it feels good. Again, I do caution you about the roller itself. I got that one on Amazon, and I can send you a link if that's something
Okay,
that you're
yeah.
interested in. But you definitely want to go with that softness, because the hard one doesn't feel good. Not like the softness. And then the other thing that I want to do is I want us to do a little bit of rolling of our legs. And again, this is just to show you some of the things you can do, but it's I think it would be beneficial to your knee to just help it get some more circulation and so forth in there. So with it right behind our knees, so it's like in the middle, kind of middle to lower part of our thighs. Okay, and this takes a little bit of upper body strength because we've got to use our arms to push up and then do some rolling. So we can, you know, use this kind of as an upper body strengthener while we're rolling. And we can turn our legs out to get some of the outside muscles, and we can turn our legs in to get some of the inside muscles. So you can just, again, just play back and forth with that. You just go out and in, out, in. And then you can turn to the side. It's a little more difficult, but you can turn to the side and get just the bottom leg. So you're propping up kind of with the top leg and rolling the bottom leg. So you're really getting that outside IT band area, which is so sore right now. Oh, goodness. And then, of course, always doing the opposite leg. And even this is good for you to just maneuver around on it. You know. Ooh, that is very sore. And then you can also do the inside. Again, it's a little bit more difficult. The inside leg. And then lastly, you could use it on the calf muscle. So getting it down further, you almost have to start down pretty low so that you have room to move on it. You get it down low and then you can roll over it.
It's going to roll away from me.
Yeah, well, maybe you have it a little bit too low. You might find some tender spots in there, you know. And again, you can turn your legs to the side, turn the legs to the other side. And just again, exploring with that to see where you feel it and where it needs. You feel it in your arms. But
No strength.
yeah, so it does. It does take some work for sure, but I think it could be beneficial to you. But we'll play with it some more in another session, and because I think I might have paid about $40 for that roller, so you know, it's not cheap. So you don't want to necessarily run out and buy one if you don't think you would use it. So we'll play with it some more. Anyway, so we'll put the rollers aside for right now. And we're going to, I'm going to jump ahead to nutrition. We're going to go ahead and talk about nutrition some before we get to our actual practice, because I want to end up with our practice and do the yoga nidra at the end, so we're kind of relaxed when we go back to work. So, you know, we had talked just a little bit about nutrition last time. You said you had cut out your sugar.
Yep.
And you're still working on keeping your sugar down. Are you starting to feel less cravings for sugar?
Yeah, actually I think the cravings are gone.
Yep. It takes usually a couple of weeks for me to get to that point, so that's great.
Yeah.
That's like real progress. Have you done any other changes or?
Not really. I'm kind of, again, just eating lighter. By that, the garden is starting to come on, so more fresh tomatoes, more zucchini, more cucumbers, more veggies.
Yeah.
Which has also helped with the sugar.
Yes.
Because I can munch on cucumbers rather than something sweet. I've also tried to be aware of my salt. So I'm not 100% there, but I know that I need to watch that more carefully. So, started
And
that.
so you're still taking the medication, the diuretic?
Yes,
Diuretic.
actually, let's see, since last week, yes, but I cut it in half.
Okay.
And I don't
So
have
you're not
all
having-
of the symptoms I was
Okay,
having.
great.
Yes, but I am still on it, just a half.
And can you tell that it's
Yeah, I'm not,
reducing the
yeah,
feeling?
it's interesting because when it was real full strength, I was definitely not puffy at all. Big difference. When I went to half, my rings are still loose, but sometimes they get tight. So I do notice the difference between full strength and half strength, but it's still better.
Yeah.
I mean, my ankles aren't swollen and I don't feel poofy all over. So, yeah.
And of course, as you reduce your salt,
Yeah.
then that just plays into that. Yeah. And do you notice that you're drinking more water since you're taking that, or just
I
out of
did.
curiosity?
I did when I was on the full strength. I really was thirsty a lot. I have a tendency, and I go through spells, I have a tendency to not hydrate myself as much as I should. And so I'm aware of that. I've got to get back on it. I'm still not drinking my 64 ounces a day.
Here's something
I
that
know I need to do it. I know I've got to get myself
absolutely.
back on it.
Absolutely, and you know, I think last time I referred to our age, and because you and I are of a certain age, and you probably know that as we get older, our bodies don't ask for as much water, even though we still need it. Our bodies just don't ask for as much water, so we have to be even more vigilant. And I'm not as vigilant as I need to be. So one of the things, which I see you're using your Journey's Handy Dandy Sperry's
I like that.
But one thing I had read somewhere was that every time somebody drank a bottle of water, they put a rubber band on it.
Mhm.
And so they just added that, so at the end of the day, they could count. Plus, it was a visual pat on the back of, you know, you did a great job. So just, I haven't tried it myself, but I just thought that that was kind of a cool thing to do.
Yeah, and I try to fill, that's, I think, 16 ounces, and it's my second fill of the day.
That's good, that's good.
So.
This is my first bottle of the day, it's only halfway.
And I'm trying to make myself drink, like by 10 o'clock I have to drink half, and by 11 I have to drink the other half, and then I do the other 2 in the afternoon, and then in the evening I do the same thing. So that's what that's how I'm trying to get myself back to.
Okay, that's all great.
But you're right, I'm not as thirsty as I used to be.
Yeah,
So I do have to force myself.
I noticed it with Mike too. I know when I first met him, he drank water like crazy. And he just doesn't now. And he says, well, I'm just not thirsty. And I'm like, yeah, no.
Yeah.
There's a reason for that.
And that's probably why I've gotten myself dehydrated several times.
Yeah. So, you know, it's just things we know, but it doesn't hurt to have a little encouragement. So the other thing I wanted to ask is, you know, you were talking about fresh vegetables out of the garden and just thinking about what your current nutritional choices are today, you know, and I think you're becoming more aware of exactly what, you know, and this is more a rhetorical question, but just one for you to think about is why you're making those choices. You mentioned, you know, the garden's coming in, for example, so it's convenience, but you know, thinking a little more broadly about nutritional choices, you know, why would you, for example, if, you know, you may know that that you have a sensitivity to soy, so you deliberately don't choose soy because it causes these symptoms. You know, so just kind of being aware of why you may choose a particular food group or choose to stay away from a particular food group, and just thinking about how willing you are to track what you eat, how much you eat, and why you eat that. You know, it tastes good, that's why I eat it, or it makes me feel better, or, you know, whatever. So just, again, awareness and being aware of the choices that we make and why. And then just, you know, we talk about inflammation. I'm probably never going to shut up about inflammation because I truly believe that it's the root of a lot of problems. And
I can tell when I'm off the sugar that it's much better.
Yep.
And I know when I have
sugar
it.
is a trigger for sure. It is. You know, I was doing some reading. Just the list is almost endless of the things that inflammation causes. You know, we talked a little bit about that last week, but chronic pain, obesity, ADHD, neuropathy, diabetes, heart disease, stroke, migraines, thyroid issues, Alzheimer's, dental issues, cancers. All those things are rooted in inflammation, so just always being aware of that. And then I shared a little bit about the inflammatory-free diet that I had, you know, used myself. There's a website that I put there where you can do a little exploration yourself, inflammation factor. It gives you the ratings of foods. There's an app you can put on your phone.
Okay.
All that said, though, I think there still takes an amount of us taking the recommendations and deciding, does this particular recommendation make sense? And I'm going to give you an example. Did I do with that? So I printed this off, and I didn't keep a copy for myself, so I'll just kind of look over your shoulder here a little bit. But I printed this off, and this was a sample diet or choices that you can make for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and snack, and what the inflammation factors are. So if something is a negative inflammation factor, it's inflammatory. And the
Okay.
more positive it becomes, it's anti-inflammatory. So that's okay, all right, fine, that, you know, you can look at that and say, okay, well, that's maybe not the best choices, maybe that's the best choice, but then I see that it's smoked sausage.
Yeah.
I'm not convinced that that's the best choice for me, right? And more about that a little bit later. Here's tomato juice, great. Carrot juice, it's really a great choice from an inflammation standpoint. I can't really drink carrot juice because I don't like the taste of it. But peanut butter had a positive one. I was surprised about that, actually.
Yeah. And chunky's more.
Yes.
Wow.
Okay, so here we are at lunch, and it's one of my best choices besides peanut butter is a hot dog. And I'm thinking, okay, it may be a great choice from an inflammation standpoint, but it's not a great choice just for me personally because I don't want that processed food
And so,
and the sodium.
okay.
So the point is that I think there's a lot to be learned from looking at these factors and making choices somewhat
Wow.
dependent on it, but you still have to decide, do I want to eat processed foods? Do I want to eat high sodium foods? Do I, you know, so there, it's unfortunate that there's not this kind of, here's the best diet for you.
Right.
I think it just takes a lot of study and also self-awareness of what works well for us. You know, and some people choose, you know, to be vegan, some people choose, you know, a low glycemic diet. There's just so many out there that can get really, really confusing. But anyway, that's just kind of an example of making it even more confusing. So, all that is on that website, and you can, you know, just play around and look
Okay.
at it, and for what it's worth, you know, it's pretty clear on there that whole foods generally, you know, your fruits and vegetables, fresh fruits and vegetables are really, really good. But you compare a sweet potato to a white potato, which isn't on that list, but it's on the website, and you'll see that a sweet potato is much better for you from an inflammation standpoint than a white potato is. So again, just awareness and thinking about what that could do for our bodies. So we've reached the fun part. Although I did put a little bit more on this agenda, just again about diseases that are caused by inflammation and what the mechanism is. I just found that to be very interesting. And then at the end, just some of the causative factors for inflammation. Again, things that we already know, diet, some of the things in our diet, sugar, alcohol, gluten, processed foods, different medications can cause inflammation, like antibiotics, different infections that we might have, stress, increased cortisol can cause inflammation. Some hormonal things can do that. So there's just a lot that
And I have several of them.
I know, exactly. So
That's sad.
It may be sad, but the fact that you're aware of that and that you're taking steps towards, you know, you're reducing your sugar, you're doing things to try to reduce your stress and those kinds of things. So if you weren't aware of it, then you would just continue on the way you have been.
When I look at the steroids, I was on steroids for
Exactly.
3 months
For
for
3 months.
those different infections. Wow.
So it's not surprising that you have some
Exactly.
inflammation going on.
Yep.
But you're doing the necessary things to reduce it.
Wow.
Okay, so we are going to begin our practice today. And this is a little different. Again, I tried to choose one that would deal with the upper body, the neck and upper back. And as I said last time, if there's any movement that doesn't feel good or right for you, obviously you don't want to do it. But we'll give all these a try and see how you do with them and how you like them. So we're going to start out in child's pose or balasana, and that you can, obviously use your blanket if you need to for your knees, either in front, behind, roll it behind them, or kneeling on it, however you want to do that.
Actually, I was doing them on the floor the other night, and I got a little sore.
Yeah. So, just sinking back and reaching slowly out, stretching out our backs, our shoulders, becoming aware of our necks and our shoulders, upper arms. And just taking a moment to take some nice deep breaths. Maybe reaching over towards the right, stretching out our right body, our left body. And reaching towards the opposite side. And then coming back to the center. And from here, we're just going to raise up on our knees. Push ourselves back so that we're upright on our knees. And on an inhale, we're just going to raise our arms up and reach. Reach, really reach. We're not just holding our arms up there, but we're reaching up. And then we're going to turn towards the wall, and we are keeping your front arm out, so you've got your arms stretched out to the sides. And this is a balancing as well as a twist. And just like with the, we did this with our standing last time, and I said, think about keeping your knees and your hips pointed towards the front while you twist towards the side. That's a safety thing for our knees. And then coming back up overhead, reaching up. And then arms out to the side and twisting the opposite direction. Nice relaxed neck, trying not to hold any tension in. And then back up overhead. Reaching, reaching, reaching. Hands out to the side, twisting the opposite direction. Again, reaching up overhead, and arms out, and twisting. And one more time, up overhead, and then let's go back down to our balasana. And maybe in this balasana, placing our arms back beside our bodies. Just resting here in this nice, soft child's pose. And then coming to our hands and knees, we're going to practice going from Balasana. We're going to go up into Adho Mukha Svanasana. That is downward dog, which you've probably heard in yoga terms before. To do this, we're going to curl our toes underneath us, and we're going to push up with our arms, straightening our legs, using our cores. So just from your knees, keep your toes are curled under, and then just see if you can, there you go, that's good, that's good. So just holding that for a minute, and I'm just gonna kind of check, how does that feel?
Now it doesn't feel bad.
Okay.
Should my feet be flat or up?
Well, that's something that you work
I see.
towards.
Yeah.
You know, you're
It's
gonna
gonna
feel
fall.
that in the back
Yeah.
part of your leg, you're gonna feel it in your hamstring. Let's play with this for just 1 second. If you bent your knees just slightly, see how different that feels?
Oh, it sure does.
Okay, so then you get a stretch in a different place. But typically with down dog, your knees are straighter and you're just reaching towards the ground. You may not do it today, you may not do it tomorrow, but eventually you may get your foot flat down on the ground.
Okay.
And then we're also going to work towards lengthening this pose so that your feet are actually farther back and you'll get more of a stretch in the back.
Okay.
Okay, so come back down to your hands and knees, gently. Okay. And then let's go back into Balasana again and just give ourselves a break. So going back down into our child's pose. And we come back to our hands and knees. And we're going to practice on push and back up into the down dog again. Okay, so just toes are curled underneath. And really, it takes some core strength to go from here. You think about it in being really your upper body, but it takes a lot of core